Oh,
It grew.
Oh, look at that!
No, it didn't
Oh,
grow. It did not grow at all.
That's
This was just
fine.
made with 3 times the ingredients. 3 or 4
Wow.
times.
And you're putting the frosting.
Now we're going to do our frosting. Frostings are really fun in raw. They don't have any dairy in them, which is really nice. So what we're going to do is we're going to put 2 cups of cashews in here that I have pre-soaked for 2 to 3 hours. And we need 1 cup. Actually, I'm going to do the double one because we're going to frost this cake. When you has anybody ever soaked cashews? Did you try them?
How does it come out?
They come out really, really moist.
What did you say?
Soak. Have you ever soaked them and tasted them?
Oh, okay.
Do you?
They're different.
Are yours already pre-soaked?
It says right here they're soaked.
Yes.
The ones we buy, and your almonds too?
Oh, the ones that you buy? No.
Oh no.
I don't pre-soak those. But you know, Wilderness Family Naturals, they do. They soak them and then they dehydrate them, which is the best way to eat your nuts because they're what we call activated. They're the activation is the sprouting activation has started. So you get
it releases the enzymes.
Yeah, it releases the enzymes and everything that would normally start to grow.
The almonds that you have there.
Are not that.
Okay.
None of the nuts that you guys get here are pre-activated. I do my own. I just take them home, soak them overnight. Especially walnuts, because walnuts, I don't like the bitter taste to them. And so when I soak them, rinse them and rinse them again, and then put them on my dehydrator sheet, and if I want them a little salty, I'll of course add salt to them, because I like them that way. And dehydrate them for, I think it's like 3 to 4 hours. And they have the most wonderful taste after that. It's totally different. It's totally different, but it's not bitter, which is nice. Okay, we're going to use coconut water on this instead of the soap water. If you don't have coconut water, you can use the soap water that you soaked your cashews in to put in here. And we're going to put 1/3 of a cup in. The reason I like to use coconut water is because it's sweeter. Anything that'll kind of sweeten it up for a frosting. And then 4 tablespoons of date sugar or agave. Since we don't have date sugar, we're going to use the agave. I'm real reticent about using a lot of agave, so I'm going to use half of what they call for, or what I call for. I've lost my taste for real sweet stuff. What's on my thing?
It's
No,
washing.
your taste buds change over every 7 years.
Yes. And so what used to be not sweet to me is now very sweet to me. So, did the apple pie taste sweet to you guys?
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Good.
It's
Good.
nice.
Yeah.
It's good? Okay.
No, very nice.
Yeah,
Okay,
this is
good.
perfect.
It's very sweet.
Good. And we're going to have some orange juice here.
Orange juice.
2 tablespoons. Did you get my orange thing? Do
So
it
when you buy
myself.
orange juice in the box and it says just orange juice.
Here, I thought she was going to pull out a box of orange juice.
Me too.
What's that orange?
You make everything different than I do. No, orange juice bought out of the store is not raw.
Yeah, it's not raw, that's right.
It's all pasteurized.
Well, unless
Killed
they press
everything.
it, some store actually press it in front of you.
Yeah, if you get that kind, then that's good.
Then you get also all the oil from the skin in the pressing process.
Right.
Bit bitter, but it's good.
Okay, how many tablespoons?
2.
We're doing the quad.
Oh, it's this 1/4 cup.
1/4 cup.
1/4 cup.
One cup.
No, 1/4 cup. Yeah, for the quad.
Well, can
I don't know,
you
look at
squeeze
the-
out the rest
What
of
a
the
cup.
other was too? This into
Where do I
there.
squeeze that?
She called us
I
quad, so
forgot.
quad, so it goes down the-
Use your
Your
I
man
need
ball.
this.
No, but that was for the first cake. We're doing the second cake, which is what?
That's why I put the regular back.
They did the first part here, so now we're doing the first one later. We're going to be doing this.
I'm leaving the seeds in here.
Oh, the orange
No, the
juice.
big one.
Yes,
goes with it.
because they've got good phytochemicals in there for you to have in your.
That's right.
But you blend it.
I'm gonna blend it though.
Yeah, so you-
If it was in this one, I wouldn't do that, but since it's in the blender will just eviscerate it and you won't even know it's in there. But you'll get the benefits. Thank you. My strong man. Okay, and then some coconut butter. We've been doing oil pulls. Has anybody heard about oil pulls?
No.
Share.
An oil pull is where you take a tablespoon of oil and put it in your mouth and swish it around in your mouth for 20 minutes.
Oh.
What
And-
does
I've
that
heard
do?
of that actually, yeah.
And what it does is it pulls toxins out of the blood. Out of your
Oil?
blood, yes,
Any
oil.
kind of oil, olive oil?
Olive oil, yeah, we use coconut oil because we like the taste of that.
20 minutes?
20 minutes. You have to do it for 20 minutes. Of course, your saliva is going and it mixes in with it, you know, but you swish it around like your
You got it. So how much oil would you put in your mouth?
a tablespoon.
Tablespoon.
You can't handle much more than that.
Motor oil, don't use that. Sewing machine oil, don't use that. 3-in-1, don't use that either.
How many times? Like once a week?
Once a day.
Daily.
Once a
day?
Yeah.
You do that, you do that
For a while.
every day?
For a while to get all the toxins out of your body, yeah.
Then what you do is you make cake out of what's left over?
No, very funny.
Now you spit it out.
Can't you just do that with hydrogen peroxide or something like that?
Well, it's not, hydrogen peroxide only kills bacteria, it doesn't draw any.
See, the oil pulls it out.
It
For
just
some
pulls it out of
reason,
your mouth?
it pulls it out of the
Well, the
blood.
mouth is the best receptor for the first point of blood,
Oh,
so
okay.
it's going to pull to the blood.
Are you getting ready in the morning?
No, I think I would do it before you go to bed.
That's a good
Yeah,
thing.
either one, you can do it
That's because
before or
I do it
after.
when I go home.
And then you brush your teeth really, really good and rinse your mouth out and tastes really clean. Our mouths taste like coconut. It's very good.
We're gonna invite Jimmy Buffett.
But one of the advantages of not only does it take out the toxins, but it also cleans the stains off your teeth.
Oh, really?
Oh, so I can throw away my scope whitening thing?
Absolutely, I would throw
I
that
know
away
that-
anyway.
There's a lot of stuff that I do that
Well, there's a lot of
That's
things that we
a
used to
little
do
bit-
too.
I'm not gonna
to-
do anymore,
Yeah, we used to
but-
use a lot of the products too, for a lot of time.
If you hang out here too long, you throw away everything, everything.
Yeah.
In the 19th century.
How much?
Okay, pinch of salt's going in here now. We got our.
Salt, just a pinch, pinch.
That's enough. Raising the 20th century all at once. Yeah.
move on.
Okay. Let's see what happens.
iPods and stuff, so.
You know,
Like living
Helps
in.
to
it's okay. The idea was born.
Technology, I like it.
Hold on. The idea was.
Thank you. That was good timing. Okay, there's your frosting.
Oh, that's amazing.
Now you can stick it in the fridge and it'll actually thicken up a little bit more.
Oh my
So if you want it
gosh.
thicker, you can have it thicker. So we're gonna frost our cake now.
Like regular carrot cake.
That looks
Frosty
delicious.
the cake.
By the way, your
Are you
smoothie Friday night was good.
It gets funny around food, don't
Friday?
Smoothie.
Friday night smoothie?
Was it Friday night or Saturday you made?
Saturday.
Saturday we made a green smoothie.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, those were
Yes.
good.
those were good.
Does anybody need to see how green smoothie's made today?
You gave us, oh, you get time.
Yeah, we're gonna do that at the end if we have time.
You mean the next class is not starting immediately after?
Actually, I'm going with the cake home, so you guys.
There you go.
Get that frosting all on there.
Yeah, it looks pretty.
Actually, you have enough for the other one too.
Now see, if you let it get thicker, it'll stick to your sides better.
Right, right. So if you refrigerated it a minute, the whole thing, is that okay too?
Oh yeah, definitely. I like lots of frosting. In my old days, you know, when I got frosting on my cakes, man, I like the thickest.
Now, everybody here was allergic to tree nuts, right?
He's trying to talk you out of a piece of this, you know?
He likes this one.
Are you making the plum balls also?
Yes,
The what?
plum balls.
Plum balls.
I want to point a trick that most people miss on decorating the cake with frosting.
Oh, pretty.
Yes, beautiful.
With a fork, you can make design on it.
Oh, sure.
Very good.
Okay, honey, you can cut this up.
I'll bet you will.
Oh,
Doesn't it look good?
Looks
You know,
great.
I think if I did it again, I would use maple flavoring for that.
Oh, yeah, that's a great
That
idea.
would taste
Instead of the coconut.
really- well, instead of the vanilla. Instead of putting vanilla
Okay.
extract in there, I'd put maple flavoring in there. Because that looks like maple frosting, and I love it. It's the gingery one.
If you don't have a dehydrator, you said you could do it in the oven?
You could,
So, or-
but I wouldn't even do it, because like we showed you, it came out pretty stiff anyway. And the only reason you would do that is to make sure that the frosting didn't rub into it, which it didn't with this. But then I used the coconut flour too, so it might not be as.
So if you want it to dry, you can just let it sit longer.
Sure, you could just let it
Yeah,
sit
she's
longer,
starting
yeah.
another session.
That would-
Things you can do on the decoration too, you can grind more nuts and then just sprinkle it around or put it on the side to hold the
Oh,
frosting.
sure, that would be pretty. Sure, it would be pretty.
The crust of the
Cinnamon powder.
apple pie that you made, that was really good. It's like, that tastes
Like you wanna eat
like
that old-
cookies and stuff, yeah, like just give me that.
Yeah, that crust is great.
I have a friend who actually did that.
Yeah.
She liked the crust so much that they made bars out of them
Oh,
and
there you
dehydrated
go.
them and then ate them like that. So that is in my recipe book if you want to do it that
Have
way.
you ever made the mouthwash in that cleansing book?
Yes.
You have?
In fact, we're in the process of making it right now, and he just used it this morning for the first time.
Okay, because I was gonna wonder, I want to make it, and I was wondering how it, if it's, you know, a good thing, because it's
Yeah.
proper body.
Oh, well, yeah, what you want to get when you go to the liquor store for that, because that's the only place you can find this, is Everclear. It's 150 proof.
What are we talking about?
We're talking about the Sanguinera mouthwash.
Oh,
You have to soak the herbs to make a tincture in alcohol. And so the best thing to do for medicinal is to use the Everclear.
Is that a vodka?
No, you wouldn't want
Once
to
you put
drink
enough
this. It's a
protein in it and
medicinal.
drink it, you get a
alcohol.
I was just thinking.
You buy it
what they
at
shipped in this
any
plastic.
liquor store will have it. It's called Everclear though. You soak your herbs in Everclear for like 2 weeks. Keep you swishing them around for 2 weeks.
For what?
For the Sanguinera mouthwash, which is in the cleansing book, if you have the cleansing book. And he used it this morning. How'd you like it, honey, this morning?
Good.
Also, I wanted to tell you about the oil pulling. One of the things it does too is tightens up any loose gums that you might have.
Oh,
around
that's
teeth.
great.
Yes, that's a
Okay.
wonderful thing to
That's
know
good.
about. Because as you get older, you know, you tend to have that problem
Yeah, you
unless
do.
you're,
So we just put the tablespoon of oil in.
and swish it around your
Now she
mouth for
wants to
20
try it.
minutes.
You're good to go.
At first, for me, it was kind of distracting, and so I'm trying to do other things while I'm doing it,
Yeah,
but it's like in my mind kind of distracting me. But I think if you keep doing it every day, you'll get used to it, and it won't be such a distraction to you. But it's very good for you. So, any other questions?
Can we have more cake?
We're waiting now.
Well,
With bated
he's
breath.
waiting. I mean, he's getting
Oh,
it.
she's
for you.
at, Debbie.
Yes. I'm sorry.
Would you say something about the mouthwash again?
The mouthwash is made with bloodroot. It's Sanguinera mouthwash is what it is. And you take the bloodroot and you chop it into little teeny weeny pieces. Or what he did is he blended it
It's just easy really.
even. So you can blend it up your, anytime you need something as a tincture, if you blend it, the finer you blend it, the better it will get into the alcohol that you're using for the medicinal. and then just soak it in the vodka or the Everclear. Everclear is what most of us use for medicinal stuff, and it's 150 proof. If you just say 150 proof alcohol, they'll usually know what you're talking about, because that's the only thing there is out there with 150 proof.
No, there is some. There's some in Jamaica called
There's there?
Cashew.
Okay, well, around here, that's it.
That's it?
Oh, yeah, you just soak it for 2 weeks, and then you add to it enough water to make 2 quarts. That way you won't hurt yourself by just having that alcohol in your mouth.
How much alcohol do you start out with when you soak the herbs?
If I remember right, it's 1.5 cups of alcohol. I just made it, so it's kind of fresh on my mind. Okay, we're going to make some plum balls.
Thank you.
Tell me what you think of it with all that ginger in it.
It's good.
Maybe it's
You like it?
You
like it? Oh, good.
It wouldn't bother you.
Because it's raw.
It's raw sugar, it's not,
What a nice
it's
texture.
not,
This is great.
you're diabetic.
It's true, it's filling, you know, one piece is.
Yes, it's very filling.
You're right.
Very filling, because it's very dense.
Some people are still wondering what we're talking about.
I mean, you know, you got this whole new mindset that you have to get about desserts, that you don't have to have a big piece of fluffy cake. You know, you have this little piece of very dense cake. And it's very filling. Okay, we're going to put in 1 1/4 cups of raw pineapple chunks into our food processor. And I'm going to put in the core. What did we learn about the core last time?
I don't know, would you tell us about core last time?
You weren't here last time.
I wasn't here, how could I have been forgotten?
You can't remember because you weren't here. What?
Supposed to eat the core.
Why?
Eat the core?
I don't know, I wasn't here, but I know that you're supposed to.
Aren't
It's really good for
some
you.
cores you can't eat all of them on pineapple, right? Because it's too hard. Sometimes
Put it in
they're
the
soft
blender.
and sometimes it's really hard.
That's true, but when you're putting it in the blender,
Mhm.
you can always eat them.
Okay.
And the reason you eat your cores is because that's where the highest phytochemicals or phytonutrients are, is in your core.
And they always core them at the store.
I know, that's why you can get them free if you want. And in here, if you take all these leaves off, there will be a little white rose about this tall in there.
Goodbye.
That has the most phytochemicals in this plant and is very good for fighting cancer. So don't throw these things away. I mean, some people plant them,
Can
which
you
is
show us,
okay.
can you cut through and show
Sure.
us?
Never will
The
let her
long way,
off.
the long way. The long way.
Go for it, do it.
Debbie,
Huh?
the long way, the
All the
long
way
way.
we were, so
No,
she can do it.
because I got to show you how to do it.
Not
Yeah,
on topic,
this is
but
it.
it's clean.
That's it.
That's it. That's your white rose. The pineapple rose is what we call
Like
it.
digging for the artichoke heart.
And what do you do with that?
And you will put it in your blender with your smoothie, and it'll add a bunch of phytochemicals to it.
It's basically the bud,
Yeah.
because the plant comes from that.
Yeah.
Right. And normally it doesn't look brown like this. It's usually very, very white, but this had a bad core, so.
I like that ginger in it.
Those,
Like
green
before
seeds
you
are
eat
all
your
pineapple.
cake.
Can you eat those?
No.
Like you thought you could eat it, you know?
Someday.
It was so good
That's
for
one
you.
thing you can't eat.
It reminded me of me when I used to.
And you can't eat the skin on a pineapple, but you can put it through the juicer. So if it's brown, you can put it through the juicer.
When can you not put it through the juicer?
When it's green.
Inside it.
I mean, the juice will be really green tasting if you do that.
This is green and it's not.
So it wouldn't be good to put through the juicer. I wouldn't do that.
The white rose. Phytochemicals. Okay. Yeah, the cancer.
You just don't need that top part, right?
What, the leaves? Put that part.
Okay, I need another. The next thing we're going to put in, now we're making plum balls, and these plum balls have all the ingredients in it for anti-inflammatory problems that you may have, and for building cartilage in, or like around your bones if you have a, what did you have around your shoulder?
Making the plum balls.
I calculated even.
Like bursitis
I've got
or,
bursitis.
yeah, bursitis where you can't lift your arm, or tennis elbow, or any of those
Okay.
joint pains that are created from having too much calcium, the wrong calcium introduced into the body. Milk is probably the worst offender. At the worst.
Anyway, This'll build the meniscus and cartilage around in the area, those areas. So we're gonna use raw black plums. Raw black plums are actually help if you have osteoporosis also. Eat lots of black plums if you have that.
Really? Plums, huh?
Yep.
Plum, plum, plum.
And we're going to
You don't
put,
take to put the seed in, do you?
not in this, no.
Not even
I mean,
the
if you
black
want
ones?
to eat
You
what's
gotta remember
inside of
some-
here,
some of these
you
things.
can crack it open with a nutcracker and eat what's inside of
You
it.
crack the pit, really?
Wow.
Yes, you can
What's
crack
in
the
there?
pit. It's a little small seed that's, looks
Well,
like
it'd be the-
looks like
It'd be the same as what an almond is.
Yeah.
See, an almond is the same thing that's inside that.
That's cool.
It's that little bit of meat that's inside the nut shell itself.
I wonder what that does for you.
So is the coconut.
Very high in cancer-fighting agents.
Yes.
In the plum?
Antioxidants.
Yeah, in the seed.
Antioxidants and phytochemical.
But it's bitter, it's very bitter.
Yeah, that's why you always mix it.
Laetril, you probably heard the word laetril.
Yeah.
That was outlawed in this country.
Yeah.
Well, that's what's inside of the fruit tree seeds, inside of plums. You can find it in
Apricots.
peaches, apricots, things like that.
They just
Apricots
recently
come
outlawed
to-
that, or
Excuse me?
is that recently?
Oh, no, it's been a while.
It's been a
Peaches
It's
while.
been a
Apricots,
long time.
plums.
That was in the 60s
I
and
mean, it works.
70s. They've
It's
outlawed
really
it.
good for you.
Of course, that's why they outlaw it.
People had to go to Mexico to get treatments with it and get prescriptions for it and things like that. 'cause
Peaches,
they had it.
apricots, and plums.
And there reason to outlaw it?
I guess it's because it was lethal. No. It was lethal to the cancer. So that's why they outlawed it.
So the vine
They, basically they
fruit
couldn't prove it did anything.
Well, they were saying that, in tests that it did, it could kill you.
They
But in the
Because
test
I
where
will
it could
try
kill you
planting
is if
them.
you
I
probably
put everything
had
into
a
flower
big
pots.
bowlful and ate it all in one
It's already
eating, just like
exactly
apple seeds, the same thing. Apple seeds will kill you too.
It's like nutmeg,
Yeah.
you take a whole nutmeg, you get high.
Apple seed is arsenic, right?
Sure.
Arsenic? What is that?
No,
Is it
they
bad
say
for
there's
my
cyanide in
too?
it.
Cyanide, that's what it
I
is.
don't
Cyanide.
like
The
that.
cyanide in apple
That's why
seeds
it's
is in a
cyanide.
string about this long, so the
That's right.
cyanide is not an actual standalone chemical. It's within a whole string of the chemistry.
Right.
So it's not affecting the same as if it was just cyanide alone. So, and the same thing with laetril, they actually reconstitute or refined it down to where it became liquid and injectable. And if you went to Mexico, you could get injections for it. So I know a lot of people that did go down there for it.
And what was the effect?
What was
It
the
worked.
effect? It would kill the cancer.
That's it.
Yeah.
Okay, but it wouldn't get you high or anything like that?
No.
They did the same thing with colloidal silver. They applied it wrong, and it kills all these bad things and cancer and everything. And they eliminated it, even though they were using it around the world. So.
Sure, Dr. Simoncini in Italy has run a big thesis on it and proven that cancer is a fungus. And his treatment was a 6-cent dose of pharmaceutical baking soda.
Yeah, baking soda.
And for 45-day regimen, he would put this baking soda into a liquid form, intravenously if you had it in an area needing to get to a certain organ. He would put it to that organ's feed blood supply at that particular portal. He would get that, he would actually create a portal in the body and then would just feed that bicarbonate. There was another man that was actually injecting ozone by hypodermic needle. He created ozone gas and he would plug that into the system. They said, no, that'll kill you. Well, the thing was he never died. And he got rid of his cancer with ozone.
There's
Yeah.
thousands of ways to get rid
Shark
of cancer.
cartilage.
Thousands.
Yeah.
But I wouldn't do shark cartilage. That's an unclean fish.
That's why I don't
You need to
eat the
look at what's behind some of those things. And the other thing too is you can kill the cancer, but if you don't kill what caused it, which is the bitterness, unforgiveness, and things like that,
Right.
and the environmental stuff that we take in, it'll come back.
That's right.
It'll haunt you. It'll come back worse.
Okay, we are on the plums. We put in 3/4 cups of raw black plums. And we're now putting in 3/4 cups of dried prunes. Okay, and then we're going to put, I've got raw corn here, but I'm going to put the chia seeds in first before I put that in. And we're going to put in 2 cups of walnuts, 3 to 4 dates, cinnamon, and walnuts. Okay, so we're doing the chia seeds now.
I have a question. How many dates did you do?
How many dates?
I'm sorry, plums. How many plums are
Prunes, I,
3
Plums.
plums, prunes,
3/4.
3/4 of a cup.
Which is how many?
It depends on the
She doesn't want
cut
to
it
cut
and
it
put it
up.
in the
No, I was
measure.
just
About
wondering
12.
how much you put in.
12,
Did you press
12 to
them
14.
down?
I did,
Prunes.
even though you're not supposed to, I did.
No,
Like
plums.
2 of them.
That's 12 to 14 plums.
No, you're not supposed to press them, but I did.
Press
That's what
plums
she's
too?
asking. for the
No.
plums.
I didn't press the
12
plums.
to 14 plums? Debbie, you didn't put 12 to 14 plums in there, did you?
Prunes.
Prunes.
No, she-
I'm
I think
telling
she
you,
has
plums.
The plums, she
Oh,
put
the
in
plums?
2
Oh, I'm
black
sorry.
plums. 2 of the black
2,
plums.
sorry.
No, because she has the plums.
Oh.
Yes, 2. Okay, and
That was fun.
2 cups of walnuts. 2 cups of walnuts. We're
You're gonna
put-
show everybody how you take the corn off the cob again, aren't you?
No, I already dried this stuff.
Oh, you tried it out. I loved watching her do that the last time, that was great.
What is that, Debbie?
This is the walnuts. We're gonna put 2 cups of walnuts in there.
You soaked and dehydrated them or something?
These aren't, no, they're just plain old walnuts.
Now, if you want them for eating,
For
then we
eating,
soak them
yeah,
and then dehydrate them.
for this, no.
It takes that bitterness off the natural, what do you call it?
Skin.
Insecticide that's natural.
It's a natural insecticide to keep bugs from.
It keeps the bugs
eating.
from eating them.
But it's a natural insecticide,
It's
Steve, I
natural.
got it, it's on the.
Yes,
yeah.
that's
It's
not
not
gonna kill you.
Right, well, that's why they tried to synthesize that, and what did they get out of it? Splenda.
Splenda.
Yeah,
Really?
Splenda is what was derived out of them making a bait
Insecticide.
or
Insecticide.
I
insecticide,
heard that.
and they found out that, oh, this is good sweetener, let's, get that in the market.
Oh, wow.
It's not enough to kill you, of course, they went and probably made a bar of what was allowed, federal guideline,
Right.
you're allowed to have this much.
But it wasn't from an insecticide for walnuts, though, it was from a real insecticide, wasn't it?
Correct. It
They
was
were trying to
synthetic.
make a
They
synthetic.
synthesized it.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
so walnut, it'd be
Synthetic.
great if
Right.
it was from walnuts.
They were
That'd be
trying to
cool.
make a synthetic insecticide?
Yeah,
Yes,
yeah.
they always synthesize.
Yeah.
See, any pharmaceutical or any chemical company that is making something, if they find, let's say, walnuts have a excellent resistance to ants, they're going to try to synthesize what it is. They'll isolate out exactly what that component is. They'll test it and find out, oh yeah, the ants, they love to eat it and they die. So they've now isolated what the chemical is, or the chemical compound. Now they'll synthesize it in a laboratory. And they've done that with whether it be pharmaceuticals for human ailments. They try to synthesize. There was one recent find in the Amazon about 15 years ago. They found a certain tree, I forget if it was a bark or something, that was so effective in killing cancer that it just blew away the,
You know what it was?
what do you call it, chemo. Okay, blew away chemo, and it was natural. So they tried to synthesize it. For 10 years they experimented trying to synthesize it, could not.